Welcome to Vantage Technology webinar. Today's session cover an exciting topic: what is Async API and how to integrate it with Kafka. We will explore the fundamental of Async API, why it is gaining traction in event-driven architect, and practical way to connect it with Apache Kafka for seamless data streaming and integration. So before starting this session, let me introduce myself. My name is Rajneesh Kumar. I am the CTO of Vantage Technology. I have more than 25-year experience in IT side, and I am the MuleSoft ambassador as well as AI advocate and AI influence award winner. So let's start this session. So first, you need to understand what is the event-driven architect is. So simply put, an event-driven architect is a architect that is a built to process event. They typically leverage an event broker or a message queue, which serve as a middleman between system that generate the event and the system that consume the event. So here is an example. Here is an example of simple event driven system is. So if you notice in left hand side, you have a event producer. In this producer, I listed out a couple of event producer. Among them are like a Salesforce platform event, which generate the event. Similarly, you can other event too, which can generate the event from the producer. On the right hand side, we have a consumer event consumer. Here is also I listed out a couple of event consumer. You Here is also is a Salesforce as a consumer. You can use as a Salesforce as a consumer, or SAP, or any of the uh, system you can who can consume your message. It is a call as an event consumer. Between these two uh, section, producer and event consumer, there is an event broker is there, right, which is called the message queue. It is in the middle of both of the system, and basically it distribute serve the distribution between these two. It help rapidly event from the producer over to appropriate consumer, while simultaneously acting as a buffer of maintain reliability in case of failure occurs. So this is a simple event driven architect diagram is. So let's jump on what is how this event driven integration asynchronous communication work. So unlike the synchronous API, which require that each call be completed before the next one begin, an asynchronous API allow the client to continue execute other tasks while waiting for the server to respond. It does not block the client when too many requests come through the and typically involve a callback or other mechanism to handle the server responses. So this is a communication how it is happening. If you notice is these are the event driven communication is happening, and this is event broker, and then it's sending to the different, and it's basically it is not waiting for the one message process and get the response, then you can start the second message. Just keep sending those information to respective their system is. So to process solve for many of the common pitfall when trying to use synchronous communication with the event based communication. So here are the few point. It allow information to process without excessive polling. While REST API can achieve this effect, it typically involve asking for information consequently. Similarly, a child is asking, "Are we there yet?" And then the waiting for your response as a parent response, whether it is being done or not. If it is done, then process further. Second is connect system to a centralized event broker to simplify the data exchange. It gives you the easy way to interact with event-based services, Async API, build to communicate event and remove additional complex business logic that would be needed with the REST-based approaches. Third one is failures minimize downstream impact is. So basically, it minimizes your downstream impact. It promotes the loosely coupled environment that minimize the downstream impact if failure occur. And last but not least is it allow event to be proceed. So basically it increase the response time to consumer or instantaneously. So it allow event to be produced in series to provide the faster response time. A step one does not to be complete before a step two is begun, and accelerating the completion of multi-step process. Basically, if you're the multi-step process, it is not waiting for the one process need to be in, then I can start. It's both can work parallelly for any of your event driven architectures. So this is a journey of enterprise scale event driven is. So if you are coming to the synchronous API led connectivity architect is, so it's a similarly kind of architect in asynchronous asynchronous API is following. So consumer that want to embark this journey and asynchronous journey to other event driven architect need to be invest in adopting their enterprise support event application. Investing in an event broker or message queues such as Kafka or Active MQ is just the first step of that journey. So whenever you want to event driven any architect, you have to first invest some of the basic system like Kafka or Active MQ so that you can start to build your application on asynchronous APIs. They also need to be integrated with the event system into their application network is. So this is where MuleSoft can help when and we can empower you to enable the single platform for end-to-end event-driven architecture in MuleSoft side is. So these are the couple of things for with the asynchronous API capability. Similarly, you can do the first is design. If you're coming to the synchronous background API led connectivity architect, same thing is we can start with the design asynchronous API specification with ease by doing the design center. You can do start to doing designing in the design center in the MuleSoft side, Anypoint platform. Same thing is like govern async API, especially allowing to them to conform with the async API standard and best practice at the design time. So with the best practice and rule set, you can define the govern side. Discovery and reuse. So basically is across your organization, if reusable, you can build reusable asset in the async API, and you can reuse in different department within the or different project for the reusable component is the same. Similarly, how you implement in uh, synchronous API or API led connectivity architect is. And last but not least is implementation. So implementation event application using the new API kit. Here you have to use the async API kit, like how you are using or you are using currently for your synchronous API as API kit. Same thing is asynchronous API kit is available so that you can scaffolding your whole your design and validation, message validation and data sense, everything you can implement over here is. So this is how you can journey, and this will satisfy your requirement like a design, build, deploy, operate and discover. This is how this cycle you can follow, how you're following with the current API led architect is. So is it is perfectly fit for the existing your setup for the synchronous API. It is also same thing, it will fit to the asynchronous API side is. So now we can start with the demo. So adoption of the event-driven architect is accelerating, especially for the use case and scenario that require the low latency and high resiliency. Adopting asynchronous API standard make EDA, event-driven architect initiative, collaborative, governable, and enhance the developer productivity. So for this demo, we will use a very simple order processing scenario and leverage the two popular event broker, Kafka and ActiveMQ. So first, we start to designing an async API for a real-time order processing application. We design with the first step in our demo. Second, we will do the scaffolding of API and build the application logic. And third one is we will run the application and validate the result is. So this is what we are following for the demo today, and I'm going to go through this demo. So let's jump on the demo side. The first step is an API approach is the design of an API. API designer now support AsyncAPI 2.6. To begin, we simply provide basic details such as name, number, and the choice of YAML versus JSON as a language. YAML versus JSON as a language. Our new async API specification first define our Anypoint MQ and Kafka server, followed by a four-channel, one each for order place, cancel, confirm, and back order. Each of these channel consists of both publish and subscribe operation. We will use Kafka for back order workflow and MQ for the rest. Let us run some governance rules set on Async API to ensure that it is compliant with best practices as well as company policy by importing the Async API best practice rule set. I am able to address the deviation that was found rather quickly. Once I am done with all my validation check, I am ready to publish my API to my Anypoint exchange. I can now implement this async API specification in my IDE. To implement this, I search for it first and then give my new project a name. In the ID, I find a four scaffolded flow, one for each for of the four channel. Let us first work on the order place flow, which check incoming order against the inventory and trigger either confirm or back order flow by publishing to the respective channels. With a few simple click, I configure the channel within Anypoint MQ that my publish operation will write to and trigger order confirmation communication. As you can see with this approach, we have abstract away a lot of heavy lifting that would have otherwise required deep knowledge of the respective brokerage or queue. All right, we just finished building our entire async application. Essentially, when enough inventory is available, we will confirm the order, else we will back order it. In case, we will inform the customer via both email and Slack. Let us now test our application logic using an order quantity of 12 that is less than the inventory we have, which will trigger the order confirmation pathway. To do that, I am here in Anypoint and operate to push a JSON payload across. We do see order confirmation message come through in real time, and that is exactly what we were expecting here in email. And of course, the Slack message should also be here anytime, and there it is. Thank you. So thanks for joining my this session. If you have any question, any concern, if you have more question, so feel free to contact us with this information, and feel free to subscribe this channel. Thank you very much.